Hey, everybody. So today we're talking with Adam Miller, who's also a real estate agent here with Real Broker. Adam, 3 years ago, moved to a brand new market in Maui, Hawaii. And he's in that 3 years been able to establish a business, establish a network, and is a very successful real estate agent down there. And so today we're going to talk to him about how he did that, what his strategy was, and how if you're starting in a brand new market, you know, zero people, how you can grow a big business from that. And I'm gonna give you a little secret. He heavily used video in his strategy. Adam, how are you today, man?
Aloha, good morning. Doing fantastic.
Aloha. Yes, thank you so much for doing this, man. I'm really excited to talking about some like tactical strategies with you.
Yeah, me too. I've learned a lot and I'm excited to share.
All right. So tell me a little bit about starting in a brand new market. Tell me a little bit about your story. So you guys 3 years
Sure.
ago starting in a new market. How did you guys go about kind of going about like starting that and kind of getting some momentum and growing your business from zero?
Yeah, it was a wake up call. We were a husband and wife team. We were licensed real estate agents in Florida starting in 2013, and had a pretty phenomenal business. We actually it was just me from first 4 or 5 years. I did 6 transactions my first half year, and then 12, and then 18, and then 31. By the time I did 31 transactions by myself, I brought on my wife. And then that following year, took 62 listings, closed 47 transactions.
Yeah.
That sixth year, we knew we were going to move to Maui, Hawaii. So we kind of slowed down business about the third quarter, and we did 35 transactions that year. And we were doing, I don't want to say all the typical stuff to get business, but I was farming. I was heavily into expireds. Most of our business came from expireds and farming and a little bit on social media. So fast forward, we moved to Maui in January 2019, got licensed in March 2019, and took almost no time for me to realize that everything we did in Florida to get business was not going to work here.
Wow.
There's almost no expireds. There's maybe one a month. Where in Florida, I can dial 300 expireds a day, just because the market was significantly larger. And it's an absentee market. So 65% of the buyers and the sellers don't even live on Maui. I've used all the dialers before, right? Landvoice, Mojo, every dialer that is available, we use in Florida. We've tried them all here. And the struggle is that most of the numbers either did not exist or were the wrong numbers. So even circle prospecting was not working. Door knocking, not really a big thing here because you're knocking on doors of people who are renting and not the actual owners. So it was almost panic mode because I didn't really know of any other things to do besides the typical stuff that everyone tells you, right? Expired, sphere of influence. I had no sphere of influence. I didn't know anybody on Maui. However, I did understand the statistics that says I think 87% of buyers and sellers will interview one agent, and it's usually the first agent that they get in front of, which then made a video. I was like, I need to make sure that people find me. And even though I had a YouTube channel since 2014, that was basically just uploading like listing videos. So this was different. I mean, I knew that 80-20 principle applied. 80% of the business is going to the top 20% of agents on Maui who have been here for a long time. I knew I could not compete with them, and I didn't want to compete with them. My game plan was to focus on taking territory from everybody else. There's plenty of business to take away from those 80% of the agents who are doing 20% of the business.
Right.
So I went all in video. Started to research. I think that's kind of how I found you, how I found Daryl Leaves, and started to learn everything I could about YouTube.
So when it comes to video, were you also doing Instagram and Facebook, or are you really just focusing on YouTube with that?
Yeah, Facebook we did. Actually, we did get a lot of business in Florida from Facebook, and we took a lot of that information that we did there that did really well, which was hyper local content. And at the time, I didn't really fully understand that that's what I was doing. But I started to, do videos in Florida like local businesses, like spotlights. So at the time, I wasn't like, I'm going to focus on small business in my farm. It was just like, this is a cool place. We're going to go do a video there. And it was people getting to know me. So that was our original premise when we started to do video. I had no game plan.
Right. Yeah.
Just do video.
Yeah. And back then, I mean, 2019, 2020, there wasn't a really good established like business model for using YouTube. It's kind of that time frame that it really started getting established. People started picking up momentum.
It was a struggle. So, and I know we'll talk about this, but the biggest mistake I made was creating a channel for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
The worst mistake.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, you got to get pretty specific. And so who would you say the target audience is of your channel then?
So for a long time, I had no idea. I did, mistake number one, everybody's my client.
Right.
Which is hands down the biggest mistake that you can do. So I had no idea. So I hired a videographer from the get-go, and we were just doing, my channel was all things Maui. Terrible idea, because YouTube has no idea who to show that video to.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so when you got there in Maui 3 years ago, you started making videos. How long until you started generating leads from these YouTube videos?
So that first year was pretty tricky. So that was 2020 is when I started the YouTube channel on Maui. So that was January 2020. Like I said, I hired a professional videographer. We knocked out 8 videos, January and February, every Monday. Then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
And Maui, much different than every other state in the country, the most restrictions. So for almost definitely the second half of March, all of April, and part of May, we were shut down. In terms of definitely nobody coming here. And as real estate agents, we were not considered, this is going to sound crazy, not considered essential workers. So literally we're not even allowed out.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah, every state's different about that. Which is
if you were going on a listing appointment, you needed to have some documentation just in case you got pulled over from the police.
Wow.
I know, sounds crazy, but that's life on Maui. So anyway, for March, April, and May, I literally repeated those videos that I recorded in January, February, because that's just what I did. So anyway, so fast forward, I got my first lead in June of that year. Family on the mainland looking to buy a home on Maui. They bought it sight unseen, $850,000.
That's
by
good.
August, by August, got our second lead, and that closed at $1.8 million, sight unseen. And that was 2020. Two transactions, $2.5 million, $2.6 million.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So that's great.
Fantastic. I was like, holy cow, this works.
Yeah, and now you're starting to generate leads using video, establishing a business. What I loved about 2020, here's what I liked about 2020. Some agents kind of cracked and they didn't do anything. They stopped doing lead generation. They couldn't do open houses, doing door knocking. Other agents, though, like us, we doubled down on video, right?
Yep.
I know in 2020, I was stuck in my house. I was just cranking out YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video.
Yep.
And the people that did that during 2020, they're reaping the benefits now. They grew big businesses.
Yeah,
they're still generating leads because of that.
Yeah. So one of the things I started to do at that time, considering we were closed down and nobody was coming to visit, I mean, that's a big thing on a
right.
Nobody coming to visit. So I know that there were a lot of businesses who had online businesses. I did focus on doing business spotlights. I did a ton of them. If you go back and look at all the videos that I did, tons of spotlight videos. Okay,
good. And those going to work. I guess you're establishing relationships with the companies and everything.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was, I think it's Tom Ferry who says, I see you everywhere.
Yeah.
Being the digital mayor of your town. So even though at that time I didn't really have a focus for what the channel was about, I did know that I wanted to do a couple of things. One, I wanted to do spotlights on some video who can use some help. Kind of my way of giving back to the community and helping.
Yeah.
and to show that man, this guy's a real estate agent, but he's, not talking about real estate. He's focusing, on this mom and pop business who's currently struggling during this pandemic. So it kind of gave me credibility in the town, I guess.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I think just having video in general, like you're building relationships with the audience, you're establishing yourself, you're establishing credibility. Like there is no downside to doing video. It's all upsides. Doing video, which is what I love about it. All right, so that's kind of how you kind of kept your head above water at first, right? You started getting some momentum and you started building this YouTube channel. After that, how did you kind of continue that momentum? How did you grow your business further after that first year or so on a brand new market?
Got a lot of mentors, yourself, obviously Christina Smallhorn, Karen Carr, Daryl Eves. Just started to kind of watch Nick Niman, just started to watch a lot of YouTube to find out what I should be doing, because honestly I was just winging it. My channel was all things Maui. Once I realized that YouTube's job is to get people to watch the channel and stay on there longer, and they do that by figuring out what your channel's about and who to show the video to. But if you have a channel about all things Maui, they have no idea who to send that to. They can send it to home buyers, they're going to send it to people planning a vacation, they can send it to to everybody. Terrible idea. So I started to hone in. So my takeaway from all of those people I just mentioned, and somebody, do you know Seth Godin?
Sounds familiar.
So Seth Godin, he's got a ton of great books, but I started to watch him, and even though it's really, really difficult for all real estate agents, myself included, it's basically to go small to go big. And his mindset is you have to find out what your niche is, and everybody else, you go, I don't do that. Malcolm does that. You should call Malcolm. Now, I know in real estate, we want to be able to help everybody. So to have that mindset is a little tricky. I'm not great at it. I'm getting better at that one. Instead of, yes, of course I can help you buy a beach property and a horse farm and, commercial real estate. Once you start to do that, you start to dwindle yourself. So I started to, as tough as it was, to go small to go big. Maui's a big island, although it's a small island. So I started to focus on South Maui where I live.
Okay.
My game plan was, I will have so much content in my town that if you started today, you won't catch me.
Yeah. See, that's what I love about it, is that you were early enough that you've taken this territory. And if somebody's starting YouTube in your market now, like they've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, a lot of catching up to do. I have hundreds of videos just in my town.
Yeah, I love it. And you bring up a really good point about YouTube, is how specific do you get with an audience, and so I've seen people get too specific, but I've seen people go way too broad more often. And it's really kind of fine tuning. It's kind of different for every city, I guess, as well, how specific. So who's your avatar? Who's your target audience, would you say, for your videos?
Yeah, so I have my avatar. It has changed over time because I've been doing a lot of polls of my viewers, and what I thought in my head were the ideal clients was completely wrong. So it's basically people who are wanting to move to Maui or thinking about moving to Maui, and people who want to know what it might be like living on Maui. Okay.
That's good. Yeah. So people who wanting to move there. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And then people kind of interested in there.
Hyper focused, hyper local, small. I won't have a video go viral and have 1 million viewers.
Right. Yeah. And that's you have to kind of curve your expectations with YouTube as well. And you don't necessarily want 1 million viewer video. If you had one that got 1 million views, and let's say you got 100,000 subscribers from it, that's the wrong audience. Most likely, it's the wrong audience.
Yep. And it is probably the toughest thing, because we all want those metrics, the likes, and the subscribers. Where I know, just like you said, at the end of the day, there's not 100,000 people who are looking to move to Maui.
Right.
There's just not.
Yeah, exactly. And so what would you say are some of the, I guess not necessarily the top performing, but your best videos for generating leads? What are your most effective videos that you've made on YouTube that you would recommend somebody to make in their own market?
Yeah, so I have been testing out how long to do videos. right? Are they 5 minutes? Are they 2 minutes? Are they 30 minutes? And my top performing video, believe it or not, is kind of like a vlog style of my town.
I saw that.
I don't care how small your town is. It is tough to do a vlog of your town that is, look, it's 32 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I cut out, an hour's worth of content. But it got me, 37,000 views in less than a year. Got, almost 300 subs.
I love it. And I also want to say, I love this thumbnail, by the way. That's an awesome thumbnail.
Yep. I change those constantly.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Your thumbnails have definitely improved significantly compared to like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. Terrible.
Become way, way down here. Like really everybody's thumbnails improved a lot. But you've kind of figured out a formula, it looks like, for your thumbnails, that a beautiful landscape and then just a few very easy to read words work really well for your thumbnails, it looks like.
Yeah. People want to see Hawaii. Now, you're showing the screen, and I'm going to kind of backtrack and contradict myself because I have been testing out doing videos that will get people to the channel.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you see the third video there, and then the fourth one, Maui right now. Especially after this pandemic, people want to see what Maui looks like.
Ah, yeah. So, okay, I like that.
You can see on the fourth one, the fifth one over. So the third one, the fourth one, the sixth one. All what Maui looks like right now. Now, I will tell you that realistically, are those my clients? Possibly. But they've gotten eyes on the channel. They've gotten subscribers. They've got me about 500 subscribers between those 3 videos.
So I love that. So one of the things as YouTubers we have to do on our own channels, and nobody else can really do it, is find trends like that and find series on your channel. And that looks like an incredibly successful series. 9.7 thousand views, 9.8 thousand, 13,000, 15,000. So yeah, you've definitely found a bucket of content, and you could probably make a video in that series like every other month, or maybe even every month.
Originally, it was on my calendar every other month, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to do it maybe every quarter, maybe every 2 to 3 months. But I always tie in some kind of real estate, just so that if you're brand new to the channel, you don't go, who the heck is this guy showing me around Maui?
Yeah, 10,000 views in 2 weeks. That's fantastic. That's really good for anybody's channel right there. And you know what I like about your channel is a lot of people they're a little bit more clickbaity. They're a little bit more, with the fire in the background and, a screaming face. Yours is much more calm and settled, and like it's a really beautiful thumbnails and everything. And so I like that you figured out how to get these views without going extreme clickbaity on everything. Yeah.
And the cool thing is that there is, at least for right now, not a lot of competition on Maui with YouTube.
Yeah.
There really is kind of 4 of us doing video. 3 of us doing kind of the same thing, like real estate, driving tours, and then somebody else who's got, significantly more views and viewership, but doing a ton of visitor content. And it's a struggle, because I look and go, dang, it's got 20,000 views this week. And then I go, not my lane, not my lane. I'm staying in my lane.
That's the hard part. Like, I know you could create a huge channel all about Maui.
Yep.
It's not going to generate leads. So it's not the most effective strategy for generating leads and growing your business. I know I have that same struggle quite often as well. And so if somebody were to start a channel right now, what would the first video be that you recommend that they do? Maybe the first 3 videos. Do you think they should do driving tours or walking tours like you've done on yours?
Yeah, it is so interesting, the feedback I get from driving tours. Because to me, they're like as basic as it could possibly get, right? Camera on the dash, got myself some mental notes, and I'm working my way through every neighborhood in my town, my 2 towns. Like South Maui is made up of 3 towns. I'm hitting them all. I do at least 1 a month. But people love them. People love the driving tours. It's crazy.
So I find that really interesting how, so you said that some lead generation strategies don't work in your market that worked in Florida. And I'm sure that's all over the place. Different strategies work for different markets. And I wonder if videos are kind of the same thing. Like if I did a 30-minute driving tour of my area, I don't know if it performed nearly as well as a 30-minute driving tour of Hawaii. So maybe just markets different. You have to kind of test it out and different strategies work.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's millions of people who visit Maui every year, so I hear the feedback a lot. Thank you for your video; it helped me plan my vacation, which I have mixed feelings on. Obviously, I know you're watching it. However, all of those videos, I do tie in some kind of real estate to it, so they remember that I'm at least a real estate agent. Because I'll always hear like, "You help me plan my trip. I'm not in the market to buy a place now," or "I'm not looking to buy, but my friend is."
Right. Yeah. You just never know, or maybe a year from now, they do want to retire and they retire down there. How I look at it is kind of like a view to lead ratio. So a video like pros and cons of moving to Maui, maybe you only need 500 views before you get a lead on it. Something like these stores, you may need 2,000 views before you get a lead on it. But those videos are going to get tens of thousands of views. So it may still be worth it in the end.
Yeah. So in my content calendar, I drop new videos every Monday, Maui Mondays. And then I just started to drop 2 videos on Thursdays.
Wow.
So I'm doing 5 to 7 videos every month. And I've broken it down to Maui real estate, living on Maui, moving to Maui. And then I'll throw in like 1 every 7 videos that is just kind of something generic that'll get views to the channel.
I love it. Yeah. So you've got your series, you got your buckets all lined up, you got your schedule, and you're so far ahead of everybody else and you're still cranking it out. It's almost impossible for anybody to catch up to you at this point.
It is. And it is a challenge because, like I said, Maui's a semi-big island and people are always like, "Hey, when are you going to go over and do videos on the west side?" And I do on occasion. But it has been a discipline for me to go, nope, I'm staying in my lane, because if I can spend the next 2 years, which is a long time to be that consistent, of doing content in South Maui, that I know, Malcolm, if you started tomorrow, you can't have enough content. You might have better content and viewers, but if you just type in my town on YouTube or in Google, I'm showing up because I have 100 videos. Yeah. So that was the game plan in 2020. I didn't know that at the time, but definitely 2021 and 2022. Like, that's my lane. I'm staying in South Maui, just doing a ton of videos in that area.
What I love about that is there's probably real estate agents that have been in your market for 15, 20 years, fully established businesses. And then here you come in and you're doing some video, and within just a couple of years, you're dominating YouTube, you're dominating Google, you're dominating the searches for your area.
Yeah, we saw one of the top agents on Maui just the other night. We went to go see some live music. And to me, the biggest compliment I can possibly have, first of all, he knows who I am.
Yeah.
And I've said that to him. I was like, the sheer fact that one of the top agents on Maui knows who I am already speaks volumes. And he publicized the other night. So my wife and I is like, I just love what you guys are doing. Because if you're, in my mind, if you were the top agent on Maui who's been here for 20 plus years, there's no way that you should know who I am.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. We have Bob Lucido is in my market. He's the biggest agent in Keller Williams. Yep. It'd be kind of like if he somehow knew who I was from my videos or something. But
unbelievable.
Yeah, man. I love, that's the power of video, and I think you're in the right place at the right time. YouTube has just really started to take off in this industry, and you kind of took that territory, and you're still holding on to it and growing it.
Yep. So I would definitely recommend doing the pros and cons. I've done the pros and cons of Maui in general. I've also done the pros and cons of the 3 towns that make up South Maui, 3 separate videos. Pros and cons of living in Kihei. Pros and cons of living in Wailea. Yeah, like that one. Yeah, the second row down in the middle.
Yeah, right there. 8,000 views.
Yeah.
And something like that, it's the people who watch that video are thinking about moving or living in your area.
Correct. Yep.
That's much more targeted than some of your other ones. And I love that you've got the series. YouTube's all about series, and you've got your pros and cons series. You've got your different series. I think that's really important on YouTube. Now, I noticed that you film outdoors a lot, which I love. A
Yep.
lot of YouTubers like myself, I got my little home studio. I almost never leave my studio. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that down in Hawaii, like you've got such a beautiful background, like you should be
Yep.
outside?
People want to see it. I have burned through microphones, and if you or anybody is watching has got a recommendation for a great outdoor mic, because on Maui, the trade winds, especially in South Maui, the trade winds pick up by like 11:30, which means I got knock out a lot of videos in the morning.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
I've tried just a ton of different kind of microphones, lapel. Some better than others, but I know realistically, like my videos are done like 8 o'clock in the morning till 11-ish.
I love it.
All right, people do want to see Maui. Yeah, I've tempted the ones in my office, and you can see my background. It's a cool background. I do a couple in there, but for the most part, people want to see Maui.
I think you're 100% right about that. Especially the fact that these driving tours do so well. I think that if you were in Maui and you just had a little studio like this, you're kind of taking away from from it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for your market, it definitely makes sense. My market, if I was driving around, it'd just be a lot of gridlock and a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
I'll just do it here instead.
Although I've done those videos, and those videos have done well.
What am I saying? Hawaii's got some of the worst traffic in the world.
Well, it's all relative. I mean, you and I would not call it traffic. We'd call it congestion.
Yeah.
Because it's moving. But people want to see that also. Like I knocked out 3 videos because there's only 2 kind of north-south roads in South Maui, and they both had construction.
Oh man.
That causes gridlock. So I did a bunch of videos on that one.
Yeah. I mean, Hawaii has a reputation for its traffic. It's definitely something people kind of know about it and kind of probably very curious about it.
Not all rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah. So what would be your YouTube tips for somebody wanting to start a whole new market? They're starting on YouTube. What would your tips, or what are like some of the mistakes maybe that you've made along the way that you wouldn't make again?
Yeah, I would say find your niche.
Okay.
That's a big one. I mean, I look back and go, I cannot believe I had a channel called All Things Maui.
Right.
Because if you understand YouTube wants to keep people on the channel, and they do that by understanding you, the viewer, and you, the content creator. They try to match that one. So if Malcolm likes pictures, videos of the beach, and he subscribes to the channel, and next week I'm doing a video about Maui real estate, and he doesn't watch it, YouTube goes, oh, Malcolm doesn't want to see Adam's videos anymore. I'm not going to show them to Malcolm anymore. So it's a tough one, but you have to find your niche and go small to go big.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is your client. And those vanity measures, as much as we all love them, don't really mean much of anything, because you want leads.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so start small.
Yep. Stay in your lane. Don't worry about your competition. That's another big thing as well too. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Vanessa Lau. You know Vanessa Lau? She's big on Instagram. But one of the things that she said years ago that I saw, that she says she does not watch her competitors' videos. She goes to see what they're doing, just to see which videos are performing the best, but she doesn't watch them because she doesn't want to be just like them.
Right.
She goes, oh, Malcolm did a video that did really well about X. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to repeat what he's doing, but that content seems to be doing well. I'm going to make my own version of that.
That is 100% what I do. I never watch anybody else's videos. I'll look for like interesting concepts or topics or trends, and I'll be like, oh, I'll make a video like that as well. And it's kind of like if you had a pros and cons video, I'll be like, oh, I'll make a pros and cons video.
Yeah.
But my pros and cons would be completely different.
Totally different.
Don't even care what yours are. Like I'll come up with my own. I absolutely think that's how you should work it on YouTube.
Yeah, and it serves no purpose to watch a competitor's video. Now, I will tell you that I watch a lot of real estate videos in other states, right? Like if you do a pros and cons video, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch, what are the, not even like what they're talking about, but like what was the pro in regards to?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could understand like your video's idea of, Maui right now. Like that's an interesting concept. Somebody else could do that in their state right now, Maryland right now.
Yeah, right.
So like that's where I think is valuable, is just getting ideas for videos and kind of big picture concepts, but not get too granular about it.
Yep. I think it's important to stay consistent. I don't remember who told me the analogy, but it's like if you go to watch your favorite show on, NBC, and it's on every Monday at 7 o'clock, and imagine you go to turn it on and your favorite show's not on, it's a cooking show. You'd be like, what? That's not what I watch Mondays at 7. I watch this. So if you're going to pick a day, pick a time, and that's when you do your videos.
Yeah, I like it.
Consistently.
Yeah, I think it could definitely help. I think it's going to train your audience to consistently watch your content, and then you are going to put out more content if you're consistent about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I batch record everything, meaning that I have a day on my calendar that I research my topics. I have a date that I write out all my scripts. Now I like to write out all my scripts. I don't necessarily read all my scripts. Like I know some people do like bullet points. I actually kind of write out my entire script, just so I kind of have the notes in my head. I don't sit there and read it, but I get it all in my head. Plus it also helps my virtual assistant grasp the concept.
Right. Good. And so tell me more about that. So you write out a full script.
Yeah.
And so you don't read it verbatim, but like what I do is sometimes I'll read a paragraph and be like, okay. And then I kind of regurgitate that, but in my own words, in a different way.
Yeah. And that's what I do. I kind of write it out because I want to have the thought process in my head. I tried it with just the bullet points. My mind doesn't seem to work that way. So I write it all out. It's not necessarily everything that I say. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But at least I can kind of go back to my script and just kind of go, oh yeah, that's what's next.
Yeah. Good. I like that. Yeah. So much about YouTube is like, you have to kind of find your own way. There's not one way that works. So Graham Stephan, who's a big financial YouTuber, he scripts out every single word that he says in his videos. He said that during the Vid Summit last year. And then he reads every single word. Vast majority of YouTubers don't do that though. Most people, that doesn't work for them. A lot of people do bullet points, or like what you're saying. I do that sometimes. I'll read a paragraph and I'm like, okay, I got the points. I just got to re-say that in my own words.
That works well for me. And then I'm constantly taking note. Like I have a calendar for 2023 already. And I'll probably change it, but I'm still staying in the same lanes. It's about Maui real estate, living on Maui, moving to Maui. I got, an app on my phone with 300 video content. They might not all become videos, but as I'm out and about, or if I'm watching something, or if I'm thinking about something, I was like, oh, that's gonna be a good video.
That's great. Yeah, you sound very organized and very structured, which is fantastic. That's a good.
My calendar for the most part is done for this year. I mean, obviously, I changed it again, but for the most part, I'm sticking in those lanes, those topics. And then I started putting them in for next year as well too.
I love it. Okay, well, that's kind of a good segue into kind of what's the next steps. Where do you see yourself going in the next 12 months, 24 months with your business and your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I have been testing out YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, how's that working out so far?
So far so good. So I am doing a 30-day challenge, 30 shorts in 30 days. And the topics are all across the board. All across the board. Some just to get people to the channel, some specific about, moving to living on Maui real estate. But just to kind of see what it's doing for the channel. So I have, I think, all of them recorded already. And so far, halfway through the month, I think I've got a little over 6,000 views from what's today's date, the 17 videos that I've done. And I think 20 subscribers and like 100 comments.
20 subscribers. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 subscribers from my shorts.
I mean, I'm sure they don't look like they take much effort, and you gain 20 subscribers from it. Like
they're not taking a bunch. Like I literally just like started in South Maui and like hit up a bunch of beaches, and some are about the beach, some are just topics that I'm filming on the beach. Because at the end of the day, people want to see Maui. So this one's going pretty well. Actually, last night in the middle of the night, I got up and I knocked out, I think, like 25 more topics that I'm going to do for June. A little more specific. I'm going to stick to my formula that has been working. So they're going to be shorts about moving to Maui, living on Maui, Maui real estate, and then a couple of miscellaneous ones, but primarily those 3 categories. And I'm going to see how they do.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can really do at this point is experiment and see, right? And I love you're doing 30 of them and just see what works, what works, doesn't work. You know, is having you in there talking, does that work better than just having the beach or, you know?
Yeah, that was a test too. Filming just me, filming not me. And so at the end of this month, after the 30 days, I'll do a total of what videos got the most views, which one got me the most subscribers. And then in another 30 days, I'll go back to look to see, you know, have those changed?
Yeah. And what I like about those, so if you're doing 2 edited videos a week, you could do a short on all those other days and literally be posting 7 days a week if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know,
so literally, you know, 5, depending on how many Mondays there are in a month, it's either 6 or 7 videos every month, full length videos, and now 30 shorts a month. So that's a ton of content.
That is a ton of content.
A ton of content.
Absolutely. Like I know people that I'm like, come on, get on YouTube, and they do 1 video, and then like they're like, oh, I did a video. I was like, okay, where's your next one? You got to keep doing it. You can't just do
one. Got to keep doing them. Yep. So yeah, my content is my game plan is to continue to do significantly more videos. I'm staying in my lane on those 3 topics. I'm staying in my lane and focus on South Maui primarily. Just again, because I will just have so much content in that area, you'll never catch me.
Yeah, I love it. Oh man, I love it so much.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey everybody, I think that this is a great example of the type of like collaboration and training and education that we have here at Real. Both Adam and I are both agents at Real Broker. If you guys want to learn more about Real Broker, I want you to feel free to reach out to Adam. I actually did bring Adam in. So if you put Adam down as your sponsor, you get both me and him in your upline. Adam, what's the best way somebody can reach out to you if they want to questions about YouTube or Maui or about Real Broker?
Call me or text me, 808-866-6606.
I love it.
That's the easiest way. And I'm really happy that I joined Real as well.
Yep. And make sure you guys go over there and check out his channel. Don't subscribe. Actually, don't subscribe to his channel, but you can check it out. You can get his contact information from that.
Yep. Unless you plan on moving to Maui, then you can subscribe.
That's it. All right, Adam, man, I really appreciate your time today. You built an awesome channel. I love seeing you grow it down there, and I love seeing you just dominating the market with using YouTube.
Mahalo, as we say here. Thank you.
Mahalo.